along this morning, ladies. We're going to have a quick chat this morning. Thanks for joining us. Quick chat this morning about wardrobe fixes, little tips and tricks. If you've had a wardrobe fail or something happen, I think it's great to share those little bits of knowledge that we've all accumulated over the years for some of those little wardrobe issues that either drive you crazy or drive you crazy when you see clients with, and you just say, right, I can fix that, let me help. So thanks for joining. Feel free to offer your tips and tricks. If you've got any websites or things that you think would benefit all of us, feel free to put them in the chat. And by the way, you know that if you want to, you can save the chat from these Zoom calls so that you've got those links and bits of information to refer to afterwards.
My shoulders are narrower than my hips, and my brows always want to dislodge themselves off the shoulder. I find that so annoying. So I'm still looking for the clues of how to keep it on the shoulder.
You know what? There's a good website. If I can find the link, I'll put it in the chat, that actually has images of different shoulder dimensions and illustrations of the types of bras that work best for the various things. So is it more of a U shape at the back or a straight down way? I'll look up the link, and if I can find it, I'll put it in the chat, because it's really interesting to have a look at for the different, you know, to cope with the different challenges.
How do you manage your jewellery? You know, all those necklaces, all those little bits and pieces where you can see them and at a glance. And I've got all my jewellery in boxes, and I'm finding it really annoying because I've got to undo the boxes to see what's in there, but I want to keep them safe. Yeah, if you've got something to share with me, that would be fantastic as well.
I have a few things. I came across this really cool device. This was really good in the wardrobe for hanging on to all the mini sunglasses that one might have. And I also used curtain track rods to put all my jewelry.
Wow.
I just have hooks.
What a great idea.
Just at the top, and it's actually in my hallway, so it's kind of like a artwork.
Yeah.
And I have double levels of that. And one of the great things that I also have is these depillers. And I would have to say these are just incredible to bring your clothes back to life, and what they can do for, you know, tops or jeans, anything you have that has that sort of those little pills on, I find they're fantastic. And the other thing that has been a big difference for me is the velvet coat hangers, and you can now buy these at Bunnings. Put them there, and nothing falls off them. So tops and singlet tops and all sorts of things. So these are, I think, you know, really great value and really great for making things come together. And I also, one other thing I have, I'll show you guys, is I hang all my caps. And you can buy these online, and so all the caps can sort of be lined up, and I've just put them on one of my doors. So right. Those are the things that I've done in the wardrobe of 1,000 clothes. That's me.
Great idea. Yes, I have something similar in my for my necklaces. So I have them all hanging on a rod with clear shower curtain, you know, hook loops, the ones that have the little gap in them, like a sort of an oval with a little gap. So they all hang on the rod, and then I can just clip or unclip off the necklaces. And again, then I can see them all.
I do have this as well. One other thing, this is like you can get these from the jewelry people, and this can then hold all your rings.
Wow.
So now they're really great, and they're like Perspex ramps.
Wow. Now, when I said I had a big jewelry collection, mine would be approximately a quarter of that.
One last thing, which is the earring way that I store earrings. And I have these on a racking system, and I basically just color code them. So that's been a really good system for holding kind of all the earrings. And it's just something from Fantastic Furniture, and it just hooks over. So it's been really good for that purpose.
So this is what I put my earrings on. It's a little bird cage. It looks pretty, so it sits on my room, and I can just hang everything. And again, just so that I can see everything. So it doesn't meet Evelyn's criteria about, you know, not gathering dust. I like my things out where I can see them, because otherwise I just forget to wear them.
Yes, okay. So just talking about that inner thigh rash, that was a wardrobe malfunction for me one day. And it was on a hot summer day in Sydney. And all of a sudden I start to feel this really burning pain between my upper legs. And I realized that my thighs were sort of rubbing together and I was sweaty and I was hot. I don't know, have any of you ever experienced that?
Ever? You mean like every single summer?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, that's my world in summer, and I love wearing dresses, and
Wow.
I have gone through all manner of you know, things you can put on like body glide or stick deodorants. There's actually a new product out which I'm just looking to see if I can find, that is apparently awesome, like a stick deodorant thing that you apply but doesn't leave marks on your clothes and lasts for hours and hours. Or the alternative, which in summer is not great because they're kind of hot and sticky, is like a bike short or a, you know, anti-chafe short, you know, the long leg shorts. There are some quite nice ones out now with lace trim or made out of bamboo or something breathable. But yes, very, very familiar with that issue.
Emma, I
Yes.
found that the bike shorts are the absolute best solution for that, because I find even stockings tend to have that
Leave a mark.
synthetic,
Like
yeah, and they sit, they almost, that becomes almost like a grating or a you know, that sort of thing. So I find the bike shorts in a cotton definitely a great solution, because you're right, Evelyn, you can walk just a couple of blocks and you can be in the most excruciating pain. It's kind of similar to having a blister. You know, you almost can't walk.
I've found this, I'm going to post it in the chat. There's a new product out, which is available in the States, and it has been available here, but it sells out really quickly. And it's called Mega Babe Thigh Rescue. And it gets great reviews from curvy girls who are the ones most likely to suffer from that issue. Mega Babe Thigh Rescue.
Also, Evelyn, I've heard that corn flour, and I tested this. I was in America and a restaurant gave me some corn flour, and that's another alternative if talcum powder or baby powder is not available.
Well, I'm not going to ask you how you asked the restaurateur to find some corn flour for you, but it sounds interesting.
Yeah.
When you need it, you need it.
Yeah, and for girls who have big bosoms too underneath, they get a lot of chafing under there from their bras and skin on skin, and it's horrendous for them. Yep. So it'd be similar.
A good solution is pads. You can put pads on each side of your bra.
Yeah.
And you just stick them on. And what the pad does, like a panty liner pad, is it absorbs.
Yeah. The moisture.
Also, that's also a good tip for silk shirts for underarm. So if there's nothing but, you know, beautiful silk shirt and then the dark perspiration stains. So a panty liner stuck on the inside of the sleeve of the silk shirt.
Yep.
Good fix for stopping that.
It was beautiful. Brenda Kinsell, who shared this one, she just said, take the sleeves out and fix up, you know, cut it right out and then wear them just under jackets. If you're not going to wear that, take the jacket off if you don't like your arms. We've all had these malfunctions. How many of you have ever had a shoe stuck in a pavement? You've been walking fast, and all of a sudden you've been pulled up unceremoniously and nearly toppled over onto your nose while you've got a leg way out the back of you. Has anyone experienced that?
It's very embarrassing.
I've heard that there are things you can put on a stiletto heel.
If you're going to the races or a garden party or something and you don't want them to go into the grass, there are little sort of plastic, like a sort of a donut shaped little thing, clear, that you can put on the base of your heels so they don't sink into the grass.
Very clever idea, and it would work for those awful pavements with big spaces in between, or those, you know, decking where you have to get to a restaurant and they've got just decking all outside. You don't want to be caught in that and ruin a beautiful pair of shoes, you know, ruin the heels.
Also, there's, Evelyn, the situation, I guess, where your shoes break, but, you know, you have that situation where the heel falls off or the strap at the front comes away, and I guess that's where you keep those little slippers in your bag.
I usually take my shoes off and walk across barefooted and then put them back on again on the other side. It gets a few laughs, but it saves my shoes.
Yeah.
I guess one tip could be keeping a spare pair in your car, couldn't it? Just for if in the emergency situation.
Well, speaking of car, there's also the issue of, you know, ruining a nice pair of heels from driving. You know, so the right heel has got, you know, wear on the back of it, and the left heel looks fine. So, you know, driving shoes in the car, and then put them on when you get to wherever you're going.
I do, yeah.
Someone once actually put a sheepskin wool piece under there, you know, and that's how they protected the back of their shoes, you know, if you do wear them, so it's not rubbing against, you know, that kind of hard mat.
I've discovered there's really briefs that I will never ever buy again. These are little panties, and where the gusset is, and there's a center seam down the center of that gusset, and you'll see quite a few panties actually made that way. They are so uncomfortable. Well, they are for me. I don't know for you, but a full gusset without that center seam down the middle are the best ones to get. If you want to be able to go all day and sit and move around, then you won't find them riding up. But with a center gusset, they ride up and they can give you grief.
I know, they do.
Finding comfortable and suitable underwear, I think, you know, going back to Danielle's first point about, you know, riding up and having, you know, little silicone grips or things that can help with that. What about the issue of, you know, have you ever been faced with, so this is moving on to not so much things that you would experience, but things that you've seen people doing. So Danielle said she, you know, she really can't stand the visible panty line when she sees that happening. What about the situation where you're out and about and you can see someone wearing just the wrong, you know, like dark underwear under white pants, or, you know, printed underwear under something sheer-ish? You know, do you say something? Do you not say something? I mean, that can be tricky, because I would want someone to tell me if they saw that kind of thing happening. Often it's the back view. You're not aware of that until you leave the house, and perhaps even until you get out into bright sunshine where it's more obvious.
If I knew the person well, I would probably say, oh, love your underpants. Otherwise, I wouldn't say anything. But it was a gentleman about 8 months ago, and he was so beautifully dressed. He looked like a country squire gentleman. I was admiring him, and when he walked past, I noticed he still had that little cross stitch at the back of the jacket. And I couldn't help myself. Well, first of all, it was a lovely opportunity to just go and tell him how very elegant he was. But also I said, look, there's just something I've noticed. Do you mind if I fix it? There's a thread I need to... Oh, he said, oh, yes, absolutely. He was quite happy to turn and have me pick it out and undo it. And I said, there you are, it's gone now. And off he went, quite happy. Anyway, he was great, but I couldn't help myself. I had to take it out.
So don't you think with the underwear that some people actually wear, like the printed underwear showing or whatever, some people do it on purpose?
Nobody over the age of 25 should do that.
I know.
They're welcome to it, but I don't want to see it.
No.
I mean, I do get the whole, you know, thanks to Sex in the City, the whole black bra under the white shirt or under the sheer kind of thing, or the bra showing. You know, you do see a lot of younger women where the bra now is the feature, and particularly there's styles that came out, I guess maybe 12 to maybe 18 months ago, that had like lots of straps coming across, you know, almost like a bondage style, and that all then became a feature piece. So,
but if you get a mature woman and she's very demure in this shirt, and she's got it done up, no cleavage and everything, and all of a sudden she's got the bra, a dark coloured bra underneath, it just looks a bit ridiculous. I think if you're going to do the bra thing see-through, you've really got to undo your shirt significantly as well. It sort of blends, matches, like I'm meaning to do this.
So going back to, you were mentioning the fellow that you snipped the fabric off on the back, the vent of his jacket. I think that's an interesting point about what do you keep in your bag. So as a stylist or image consultant, what kind of little kit do you keep in your bag for those sorts of things? So I have fashion tape, a nail file, a needle and thread, a spare button, or some hair ties, some clear nail polish, all just in a little thing that I keep in my handbag.
Good idea. Yeah, a repair kit.
Yeah.
On the run kit. Yeah, that's a great idea.
What are those little snipper things? You know, they're not really scissors, but they are dressmaker little clippers where they can undo seams very quickly. That would be quite useful. In that situation with that gentleman, it would have been very useful instead of me desperately trying to break the thread. Yeah.
That fashion tape has been a good thing. I have used that time and again, not necessarily on me, but it's really appreciated if you're out and you see, you know, someone's caught their heel in a hem or there's a button missing or something, to be able to say, here you go. I've got something that can help, and they're so grateful.
Yeah, they are.
That would be.
This product, I don't know if you can see these, but these are used a lot by women who wear scarves, and they're called a safety pin. And I have found these have been fantastic because they are not sharp. They're kind of all protected. And so if you have clothing that you've got to adjust, these were really fantastic.
There's a thing called Maggie snaps, which so they don't have a pin. They're a magnetic thing, so a double-sided thing. So if you've got silk or cashmere or, you know, a leather jacket that you want to kind of put a brooch on or a scarf around, but you don't actually want to pierce it, these are really good.
Camilla came out, it's about $50 for their Camilla magnet, and it works with all their caftans. And so you can kind of gather parts of your caftan together, and it's a magnet on each side. It's super strong. But again, you can also order magnets for much less cost anywhere in the world. And you just have two together and they go behind the fabric. So if you wanted to sort of join, you know, kind of create a section, you just put them on either side, and that would work with scarves, as you mentioned as well. But it was quite interesting. The one from Camilla is a little bit more designer. It's got a special piece on it. But they are interesting.
So those Maggie snaps that I just posted the link for as well are a magnet, but also a snap thing, so that they won't put holes in your garments. Well, the other option, I think, which is good for caftans or longer sort of tunic style tops, which I'm sure many of you know this little trick, or if you've got a dress that's a bit long, is the old, just get a rubber band and pop it on the inside, get a fold of fabric, put the rubber band around, and it'll hoik it up, or bring it in if you just want to create a bit of shape on something that's quite boxy.
Well, moving on to another subject, has anyone ever bought hosiery that just, it didn't matter which way you put the other leg, it was twisted somehow, and it almost strangled the top part of your leg? That is weird, and I would say that is a manufacturing problem more than anything else, and there's nothing you can really do about that.
There's another one which is good. Just harking back to the thigh stuff that we were talking about and the stick deodorants. If you've got shoes, particularly, say you've bought a new pair of shoes and they're just rubbing in a particular spot, applying a stick deodorant, so it has to be stick, not a roll-on or anything, or a spray or anything. Stick deodorant onto your foot where it's rubbing will help prevent blisters on that. So
I like that one.
Just getting back to the pants and the showing of the elastic, it's always a bit of an issue. She was wearing some beautiful white slacks and she wore a G-string. And I said, honey, let me take a photo. And so she goes, oh my God, because all it did was give her a massive wedgie. So she had to choose what was the choose your pain, honey, which one you want to look at. But this is the best one because the G-strings don't always do their job. They create more of a problem than they. It's quite embarrassing. It just destroys the whole thing.
Yeah. And there's nothing worse than ruining the line of a beautiful garment with bad underwear. One thing I often say to clients who like to wear bodycon things or fitting things or a pencil skirt or a stretchy sort of dress is, I know you don't want to think that you have to do this, but buy a size larger. In your underpants, because just that, they're not going to fall down, but just that little bit of give. And if you're a bit, padded or cushioned like me, then that makes a difference. You're not cutting in to the squishy bits.
And make it a sausage.
Exactly.
And I think also what I do is I encourage the customers, the clients, that to have a full-length mirror so you can actually see yourself from the front and the back, and showing yourself from the back with another mirror in front of you, looking at the back of you, to really see how you look at the back. Because I think a lot of it slips by because people don't see themselves from behind.
That don't always have that second mirror in the fitting rooms, do they? And when they do, you can see. I often get one of the attendants to take a photo of me from the back, and I can have a look and go, oh, well, we'll put that one back.
My husband's a good critic.
Oh, they do.
Well, those fitting room, double way mirrors are a double-edged sword.
Yeah, they're good.
In one way, you want to see what it looks like, but in the other way, you could put 100 things on and go, oh no.
That's true.
I know. Sometimes ignorance is bliss.
It is.
I do believe that those mirrors in dressing rooms make you look bigger, and you would probably walk out of a dressing room without buying anything, really. That's why sometimes you've really got to take it home and look at it properly, with the shoes, you've got to have it all done together. Whereas often when we see something in a store and we want to try it on, we're probably not really quite prepared with the right shoes and everything to make the right decision. So I always forgive myself if I'm looking at a mirror with its reverse so I can see everything. If I don't like what I see, if I love the garment and it does fit well, I'm still likely to take it home to put it together properly. With the idea that I can take it back. Because every angle matters. It really does.
And you don't see them all. And if you do have another pair of eyes, it's very helpful.
There's nothing worse than the baggy bum in jeans. Even when you go looking for jeans, try and get about 20%, or it could even be a little bit less in some lycra, a little bit of stretch. And then get one size smaller. This is the opposite to what we would normally tell anyone, but one size smaller will often work beautifully. It'll be snug when you first put it on, but jeans do tend to mold and stretch a little bit. And if you get the size you think you are with jeans, you'll be disappointed within a very short period of time because they do give.
Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree. Yeah. And often, you look slimmer when they do fit you better that way. Yeah, being a bit too loose.
Here's another thing, and I've had difficulty with. I've got a straight across top and it's strapless and it just doesn't want to stay sitting well. And it's one of those ones where you can't wear a bra, that if with a strapless top, if you need any support at all, it's got to have the boning down the side, so that it sits on the waist and the boning pushes up so that it's quite firm around your waist, and then of course it'll stay. But if you haven't got that boning or that real double support on the sides, a strapless anything, even though it looks wonderful when you first put it on, you'll be adjusting it all night. If you don't know what to clean your patent leather handbags or shoes with, use an eyeglass cloth to buff any smudges or fingerprints. Yeah.
I've got another good, just before you go on to the next one, just while we're on patent shoes. If you get a little scuff on patent shoes, particularly if you've got, let's say, non-black, you know, you've got a coloured or a cream pair or a lighter colour pair, and you get a little scuff, hand sanitizer. Pop it on a little cotton bud and you know, swipe it over and then wipe it off. Don't leave it on because it will probably not do the patent very good. But just to wipe it off, great little tip.
Also, the wipes are really good to clean stains off your clothes straight away. They're fantastic. When I was working at David Jones, that's what they used. You know, lipstick marks on shirts or blouses, it does get it off really straight away. It's amazing. When a thread comes out of a knitted top, you can buy a needle at Spotlight, and it's got a little rough edge at one of the ends, and you pass it through the other side, and that rough or that thread that came out goes onto the rough edge of the pin, and it comes through to pulling it through the other end. I don't know what they're called.
Great idea. Oh well,
really handy. Yeah, really handy.
What do you do once it's gone to the other side, if it's not very long?
Oh, don't cut it off.
Would you
No, I wouldn't. I would use clear nail polish, I think, just to try and stick onto the fabric.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good one. Yeah, that's good.
If you're a person that tends to spill things, and I've got a friend who does, I've had to even recover a lounge of mine many years ago because I'd offered her hot chocolate one night and she spilt it, and she loved chocolate, and so we had some chocolate, and I had another lounge, and she spilt chocolate and had been sitting in it all night and had gone into the another thing. She'd spilt red wine on a rug of mine, but luckily I got that out because I used soda water on that immediately because I know her. But here we go. This is a good one. If you're one of those spilly people, and you're dining out, wear a print scarf as part of your ensemble, or a print scarf that you could even pop in your bag, and you could actually put it on if you had to, because the spill won't show so much on a print scarf and won't damage the outfit. It won't be as obvious. She loves white shirts. And it does, where we are, as sure as eggs, all of a sudden, oops, happens every time.
Wouldn't you, if you were that kind of person and that, you know, you'd kind of have to go, I'm sorry, I can't do the white shirts. I'm going to do darker coloured printed garments.
That's right. Exactly.
Change your wardrobe.
We wait for it now. Frank and I wait for the spill, and sure enough, it happens. Yeah. Well, so I'm looking at the time. It's nearly 11 o'clock. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here again this morning.
Great. Okay. Have to go.
Yeah, thank you for all your tips and tricks, girls. There's
thank you.
links and bits and pieces in the chat if you want to keep that. You can just save the chat. And of course, this video will be available on the Facebook group if you want to refer back to it later as well.
Okay, great.
Have a wonderful day, girls. We'll see you next week.
You too.
Thank you.